Maya Johnson stood in front of the bedroom mirror, adjusting her light sea-green summer dress. Sun rays filtered through the sheer curtains, washing the room in golden hues. Today was a special day, her and Elias's third wedding anniversary. She had decided to surprise her husband by visiting him at work with his favorite cream puffs from the Sugar Mill Bakery. Elias Hayes, her husband, was the director of a large construction firm called Apex Global Construction, AGC. He usually came home late, exhausted, but he always found time to listen to her stories of the day. Maya worked as a child psychologist at a private development center, and her workday finished earlier. She had decided to use this extra time to cheer up her beloved. Checking the clock, it was 3:30. Maya grabbed her purse and the box of pastries. The trip to the office usually took about 20 minutes on the bus. She imagined how surprised Elias would be to see her in his office. The AGC corporate office building was located in the city's downtown business center. It was a modern 7-story complex of glass and concrete, surrounded by the greenery of a small plaza. Maya had been there several times for corporate events. She knew the way to the elevators and the number of her husband's office. However, a security guard stopped her at the entrance. A heavy-set man in his 50s with gray streaks in his dark hair. His badge read, "Harrison, Security." "Hold up," he said, raising his hand. "Entry is prohibited to unauthorized personnel. Do you have an access pass or an appointment?" Maya was surprised. He was probably new. "I'm Elias Hayes' wife, the director of the firm. I wanted to give my husband a surprise." The guard looked at her intently, but no recognition registered in his eyes. "My apologies, ma'am, but I see the director's wife practically every day, and you are definitely not her. In fact, here she comes now." Maya turned and saw a woman walking toward the exit, tall and slender, with dark hair pulled back in an elegant bun. She wore an expensive business suit and carried a designer leather handbag. The woman looked poised and familiar. Maya's heart leaped. She recognized her. It was Olivia Price, Elias's ex-wife, the same woman he had divorced 5 years ago before meeting Maya. "Ms. Olivia," the guard called out, "I'll see you at the usual time tomorrow." "Of course, Mr. Harrison," she replied in a melodious voice. "Tell Mr. Elias V. Hayes that I had to leave for a business matter. I'll see him tomorrow afternoon." Olivia passed Maya without paying her any attention and headed toward the parking lot. Maya almost choked on what she had heard. Her thoughts spun in a whirlwind. What did that mean? See you at the usual time tomorrow? Why was his ex-wife at her husband's office every day? And most importantly, why did the guard know the ex-wife so well? Making a quick decision, Maya decided to play along. "Excuse me, I must have the wrong building. Could you tell me how I can get to Mr. Bermudez in the Human Resources Department?" "We have an appointment." The guard, satisfied that he had unmasked an imposter, politely explained the way. Maya went up to the 3rd floor, but instead of heading to Human Resources, she went to the elevator leading to the 5th floor, where Elias's office was located. Maya cautiously peeked around the corner. Elias's office was at the end of the long hallway. His door was slightly ajar. She could see him sitting at his massive desk, focused on reviewing some documents. His dark hair was slightly tousled. He looked concentrated and tired. Just then, the associate director, Mark Dixon, a heavy-set man with a kind face and perpetually smiling eyes, entered the office. "Elias, how are things going with the Parkside Boulevard project?" Ms. Olivia submitted all the necessary paperwork. Maya's heart began to beat faster. So Olivia really was involved with work. "Yes, everything is in order," Elias replied. "She'll bring the final calculations tomorrow. We wouldn't have been able to handle this project without her. It's a good thing you two were able to maintain a working relationship," Dixon commented. "It doesn't work out for everyone, although I understand why you're keeping this collaboration quiet." "Olivia is a professional," Elias responded briefly. "And as for Maya, I simply don't want to give her unnecessary reasons to worry. She can be too sensitive about these things sometimes." Maya felt everything contract inside her. It turned out that Elias was not only maintaining a relationship with his ex-wife, but was working with her and consciously hiding it, considering her too sensitive. Dixon left, and Maya decided not to risk exposure any further. She quickly went down to the first floor and left the building. Olivia was already driving away, but Maya remembered her car's license plate, a silver Honda sedan with license plate 547LMA. The entire bus ride home, Maya was lost in thought. Why was Elias hiding the fact that he was working with his ex-wife? What was the Parkside Boulevard project? And most importantly, could she trust a husband who considered her so immature that he couldn't share business matters? At home, she mechanically placed the box of pastries on the kitchen counter and settled down to wait for Elias. He usually returned around 7 in the evening, but today he was delayed until 9:30. "Hey, sweetie," he kissed her tiredly on the cheek. "Sorry I'm late. So much work. I was delayed with important negotiations." "What negotiations?" she couldn't help but ask. "Maya." Elias looked at her, surprised. "The Parkside Boulevard project. Complex technical matters. What's going on? You seem a little strange." Maya wanted to ask about Olivia, but something stopped her. She said, "I bought your favorite cream puffs. I wanted to bring them to the office, but I changed my mind." "Thanks," Elias smiled. "And why to the office? It's cozier at home. Besides, we're in such a tense situation with the project right now, constant meetings." This sentence definitively convinced Maya that her husband was hiding something. If everything were honest, he would have been happy about her desire to visit him at work. He wouldn't have discouraged her. The next morning, Elias left for work at 8:30 as usual. Maya only had morning classes scheduled with the children on Thursdays. She was free after lunch. She decided to use this time to find out what was going on between her husband and his ex-wife. Her conscience tormented her, but the desire to know the truth was stronger. After work, around 2 in the afternoon, Maya arrived at the AGC office building and sat on a bench in the plaza across the street. From there, she had a good view of the entrance and the parking lot. Olivia's silver Honda sedan was already in the parking lot. That meant she had arrived in the morning or around lunchtime. Maya waited. Time passed agonizingly slowly. She imagined Olivia sitting in her husband's office, discussing projects, laughing over some shared memories. At 3:30, Olivia left the building, but instead of getting into her car, she walked down the street. Maya hurried after her, trying to maintain a distance. Olivia arrived at a small cafe called Benny's Corner Bistro and went inside. Through the window, Maya saw her sit at a table and order something from the waitress. Soon, an older woman joined her with a child. He was a boy about 5 or 6 years old, wearing a yellow t-shirt and cut-off denim shorts. He hugged Olivia, and she stroked his head and kissed him. Then the three of them, Olivia, the woman, and the boy, walked to the playground next to the cafe. Maya froze. Her throat went dry. Was it possible? Did Elias have a child from his first marriage that he had never told her about? Maya watched the trio on the playground. The boy swung on the swings while Olivia and the woman stood nearby chatting. Sometimes Olivia would approach the child, straighten his clothes, or say something to him. The resemblance. Maya scrutinized the boy's facial features. Dark hair, like Elias's. The shape of his eyes also reminded her of her husband. And the chin, exactly like Elias's. With trembling hands, Maya carefully took several photos on her phone. Her heart was beating so loudly, it felt like the whole street could hear it. How could Elias hide the existence of his own child from her? They had been married for 3 years. They planned to have children next year. How could he have lied to her all this time? Maya recalled their first months of dating. Back then, Elias spoke very little about his past, about his first marriage. She thought he was pained to remember the failed relationship. Now she understood that perhaps he simply didn't want to scare her away with the closeness to his ex-wife. But back then, they were only dating. Now they were husband and wife. There shouldn't be secrets between spouses. When Elias came home, Maya studied his face, trying to find signs of guilt or concealment. But he looked the same as always, tired after a day of work. "Sweetie, you're acting strange again," he noted. "Did something happen?" Maya almost cracked. She wanted to tell him everything, talk about her surveillance, and ask all the questions tormenting her. But something stopped her. "I'm just tired," she lied. "A lot of work at the center." Elias hugged her. "How about we go somewhere this weekend? You can get a break from everything." "Do you not have plans for the weekend?" Maya asked cautiously. "None special. Just you and me." For some reason, this statement didn't reassure her. Instead, it made her even more uneasy. What if he did have plans involving Olivia and the boy, and he was lying again? At home, Maya paced the apartment like a wounded bird. She looked at the photographs of the boy on her phone, trying to find or disprove the resemblance to Elias. Sometimes the similarity seemed obvious. Other times, she felt she had completely made it up. But the facts spoke for themselves. Olivia appeared at her husband's office every day. The guard took her for his wife. She picked up the boy and spent time with him. And Elias was silent about all of it. Maya tried to remember what she knew about Elias's first marriage. They met a year after his divorce from Olivia. At the time, he said the marriage had broken up due to different visions of life and that they had separated peacefully without a scandal. He never mentioned children once, but he might have simply avoided mentioning it at the beginning of the relationship, and then it became awkward to confess later. Maya tried to put herself in Elias's shoes. How do you tell a new woman that you have a child from a previous marriage, especially if the relationship with the ex-wife is complicated? But 3 years? They had been living together as husband and wife for 3 years. How could he hide something like that? Maya remembered that sometimes Elias received strange calls. He would move to another room, speak in a low voice, and then explain they were work matters. Now these calls took on a new meaning. Also, sometimes he was delayed at work without explanation or left on weekends for unspecified errands. Maya had always trusted him and never asked unnecessary questions. Now every one of those episodes seemed suspicious. When Elias came home around 8:30, Maya could barely contain herself from launching into accusations, but she decided to gather more facts first. "How are things?" he asked, kissing her cheek as always. "Normal, and yours?" "Tense. The Parkside Boulevard project requires constant attention. I spent the whole day in meetings today." "And what exactly is this project?" she inquired cautiously. "Maya." Elias hesitated for a second. "Construction of a residential complex. Nothing interesting, just calculations and paperwork." "Are you working alone, or is someone helping you?" "Our team is close. Everyone helps," Elias responded evasively. "And why all the questions?" Maya realized she had gone too far. "I'm just interested in your work. We so rarely talk about it." "Work is work," Elias shrugged. "When I'm home, I want to rest from it." This answer definitively convinced Maya that her husband was hiding something. On Friday, Maya again only had morning classes. After work, she went back to the AGC office. Olivia, like the day before, appeared around 2 in the afternoon. Maya decided to act more decisively. She waited for Olivia to enter the building and went to the parking lot. The silver Honda sedan was in the same spot. Maya cautiously peered inside. In the back seat was a child's backpack with pictures of superheroes. Her heart pounded. Was it the boy's backpack? At 3:30, Olivia left the building as she had yesterday, but today she immediately got into the car and drove away. Maya called a rideshare and asked the driver to follow the silver Honda sedan. "Following someone, huh?" The driver smiled, a man in his 40s with a kind face. "Is the husband cheating?" "Something like that," Maya replied evasively. Olivia drove toward the city's residential neighborhoods. She stopped at a nondescript 9-story building on Riverview Street. She got out of the car and entered the lobby. Maya asked the driver to wait and also entered the lobby. A tenant list hung on the wall. She scanned the surnames: Jones, Miller, Harrison, the guard, Price. This was Olivia's maiden name. Price Celeste, apartment 43. That meant Olivia's sister lived here and used the same last name. That meant either she hadn't been married or had returned to her maiden name. Maya went up to the 4th floor and listened. From the slightly ajar door of apartment 43, she could hear a woman's voice and a child's voice. "Auntie Olivia, are we going to the park today?" the boy asked. Of course, Maxie. First, we'll eat and give Mommy her medicine. And when will Mommy be all better? Soon, little man. The doctor said in about a week she can pick you up from daycare herself. Maya stood motionless. Mommy is sick. So that's why Olivia was picking up the child and spending time with him. But this didn't explain the main thing. Whose child was he? And why did he look so much like Elias? Maya went downstairs and got back in the car. The driver was waiting patiently, flipping through news on his phone. Did you find what you were looking for? He asked. Not quite yet, Maya confessed. Half an hour later, Olivia and the boy came out of the building. They got into the Honda and drove toward downtown. Maya asked the driver to follow them. This time, Olivia stopped at the children's clinic. She and the boy went inside. Maya got out of the car, paid the driver, and also entered the clinic. There was a line at the reception desk, and Maya stood in it, observing Olivia and the boy. They were sitting in the hallway waiting for their consultation. The boy was fussy and didn't want to sit still. Olivia patiently calmed him down. Next, Wells, Marcus Y., the nurse called out. Maya listened attentively. Wells, Marcus Wise. The last name was different from Olivia's and her sister's. The middle initial, I, meant the child's father was named I something, not Elias. The relief was so powerful that Maya almost burst into tears right there in the clinic hallway. But the joy quickly shifted to new questions. If the boy wasn't Elias's son, then who was he? And why did he resemble her husband so much? And why did Olivia's sister use the last name Price while the boy was Wells? After the medical consultation, Olivia and Max went to the pharmacy, then to the park. Maya followed, but no longer with her former desperation, but rather out of curiosity. At the park, a young woman joined them, Olivia's sister. She looked very pale and unwell. Maya moved closer, pretending to photograph the ducks in the pond, and managed to overhear part of the conversation. "How are you feeling, Celeste?" Olivia asked. "Better. The doctors say I can go back to work Monday. Thank you so much for watching Max." "It's nothing. He's my nephew, and I love spending time with him. And Mr. Elias V. Hayes doesn't object to you spending so much time on us?" Maya tensed up. "Elias understands. He knows our situation. He even loaned me money for the treatment when I reached out to him. I'll have to pay him back as soon as I get my salary." "Don't rush it. The main thing is for you to make a full recovery." Maya felt like she had been struck by lightning. It turned out that the boy's resemblance to Elias was a coincidence. The child simply resembled his father. That evening at home, Maya couldn't settle down. On the one hand, she felt relieved that the child was not Elias's son. On the other hand, the fact of her husband's secrecy still tormented her. Why didn't he tell her that he was helping his ex-wife? Why was he hiding that they worked together? Did he trust her so little that he couldn't share such important matters? Maya tried to imagine herself in Elias's place. How do you tell your wife that you are helping your ex-spouse? Especially if you know the wife might misunderstand or get jealous. But helping people close to you is a wonderful quality. Why did Elias think he had to hide it? Saturday passed in an artificial attempt to behave as usual. The couple went to the mall, bought groceries, and watched a movie at home, but Maya felt tension in every gesture her husband made. His phone rang twice, and both times he moved to another room to answer. The conversations were short, but Maya noticed he spoke more quietly. "Who was calling?" she asked. "Work matters," Elias replied. On Saturday evening, they were sitting on the couch watching the news. Elias had his arm around Maya, but she felt his distance. "Elias," she finally said, "I feel like something hasn't been right between us lately." He looked at her in surprise. "What do you mean? You've become distant. You talk very little about work, and you're often distracted." "Just lots of things going on," he replied. "It's a tense period at work." "Maybe I can help somehow. Listen, support you." Elias paused, then said, "There is a situation, but I don't want to burden you with it." Maya's heart started beating faster. "Tell me. We are husband and wife. We must share everything." Elias was silent again. "Celeste, Olivia's sister, Was recently in the hospital. Serious surgery. Olivia asked for help with her nephew. Maya froze. Finally, he was starting to talk. "And you're helping?" she asked cautiously. "Well, yes, Olivia sometimes works with us as an outside consultant, and now there's this situation. I had to loan her money for the treatment." Maya noticed that he was still not telling the whole truth. He presented the collaboration with Olivia as rare consultations, not daily work. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" Elias looked at her guiltily. "I was afraid you would misunderstand. The ex-wife at work every day. Any woman in your place wouldn't be happy. And what is there to misunderstand here?" Maya felt both relief and offense simultaneously. "You're helping a sick woman and a child. That's wonderful." "You're not jealous?" Elias asked uncertainly. "Of a sick woman and a child?" Maya tried to smile. "Elias, you know I'm not like that." But inside, the offense and doubt still churned. Why was he so worried about her reaction? Did he consider her that jealous and petty? And why was he still not talking about the daily meetings with Olivia at the office? On Sunday, Elias was noticeably calmer. Having told part of the truth, he seemed to have lifted a weight off his shoulders. During breakfast, he himself started talking about Olivia. "You know, I think you two should meet. She's a good person. We just didn't work out in the marriage." Maya almost choked on her coffee. "Meet her?" "Well, yeah. Since we sometimes work together, and now we're helping her family, it's silly to pretend you don't know her. She's also worried that I have a new family and we cross paths all the time for work." "I'll think about it," Maya said. After breakfast, Elias went to the store, and Maya was left alone with her thoughts. She understood that her husband had told her far from everything. He hadn't mentioned that Olivia was at the office every day, that the guard mistook her for his wife, or that they were working together on an important project. Why was he still hiding something? And most importantly, could she trust a husband who, even when telling the truth, didn't present it completely? Maya decided to give herself a little more time to think. Maybe it was worth trying to talk to Olivia directly, or perhaps it was better to wait until Elias told her everything himself. The phone rang, interrupting her thoughts. It was her mother. "Maya, how are things? You haven't called in a while." "Everything's fine, Mom," Maya lied. "Working, living. And Elias, is he being good to you?" "What are you talking about, Mom? What do you mean, good? I can hear in your voice that something's wrong. A mother's heart is never wrong." Maya almost cried. How she wanted to tell her mother everything, vent, and get advice, but she couldn't. Until she sorted out the situation herself, she couldn't involve anyone else in her doubts. "Everything's normal. I'm just a little tired." "Well, I won't push it, but if anything happens, call me right away." After the conversation with her mother, Maya felt even more alone. It turned out she couldn't talk to her husband, her mother, or her friends. All her doubts and fears were locked inside. On Monday, Maya went to work, but her mind was occupied with everything except the children. She mechanically gave lessons, read stories, and played educational games, but her thoughts constantly returned to Elias and Olivia. During her lunch break, she decided to visit the AGC office one more time. Not to spy, just to observe their interaction once more, now knowing part of the truth. At the building entrance, she was again greeted by the guard, Harrison. "Trying to get to the director again?" He smiled. "How many times do I have to explain?" "Perhaps you're mistaken," Maya cautiously suggested. "Maybe that woman is just an employee?" Harrison laughed. "What employee? Ms. Olivia has been working here for several months now. She comes every day. The director takes her everywhere with him, to meetings, to construction sites, and just recently he brought her flowers to her office. The vase is still right there. What employee acts like that?" Maya's heart dropped. Flowers in the office, joint trips to construction sites. This looked far more intimate than mere work relations. "I see," was all she could manage to say. Just then, Elias and Olivia entered the building. She held a folder with documents. They were talking seriously about something. Elias pointed to some blueprints. Olivia nodded. Maya made up her mind. She stepped out of the corner and walked straight toward them. "Elias!" she called out. Her husband turned and froze in surprise. "Maya, what are you doing here?" "I decided to bring you lunch," she lied, holding up a bag from the cafe she had bought on the way. Olivia looked at her curiously. Up close, she was even more beautiful. Fine facial features, expressive brown eyes, impeccable makeup. "Olivia, let me introduce you. This is my wife, Maya." Elias introduced them. Obvious tension was in his voice. "Maya, this is Olivia Price, the architect. We're working together on the project." "Nice to meet you." Olivia extended her hand. "Elias has told me so much about you." "The pleasure is mine," Maya replied, shaking her cool hand. An uncomfortable silence followed. Elias clearly didn't know what to say. "I should go," Olivia broke the silence. "Mr. Elias V. Hayes, the documents are ready. We'll discuss the details tomorrow." She turned to Maya. "It was a pleasure meeting you." Olivia headed toward the parking lot, and Maya was left with her husband. "Why did you come here?" he asked. "I wanted to meet her. You suggested it yourself. But not like this. I thought we would meet in a relaxed setting, talk normally." "What? Was it uncomfortable?" Maya looked intently at her husband's face. "Just unexpected," Elias replied. "Come on, let's go up to the office. I'll show you where I work." They walked past the startled guard. Elias's office turned out to be spacious and bright. Large windows overlooked the city park. The massive desk was covered with documents and blueprints. Photos of construction sites hung on the walls. On the windowsill, there really was a beautiful vase with white roses. "It's beautiful in here," Maya said, nodding toward the flowers. "Who gave them to you?" Elias blushed slightly. "It's a work gift from the team when we signed the Parkside Boulevard project contract." "From whom?" From the whole project team." Maya knew he was lying. Teams don't give such elegant bouquets. It was a personal gift, most likely from Olivia. She walked up to the desk. Among the papers, she noticed a photograph. Elias and Olivia stood together in front of a building under construction, both wearing hard hats, smiling at the camera. But now, Maya saw more details. Olivia was leaning slightly toward Elias, almost touching his shoulder. The pose looked quite intimate. "What's this?" she asked, pointing to the photo. Elias looked and blushed slightly. "A work moment, when we launched the Parkside Boulevard project recently, about 3 months ago." "Elias," Maya said, "I think you're still hiding something. Olivia doesn't just work with you on this project, does she? The guard downstairs said he sees her every day and has for several months." Elias sighed heavily and sank into his chair. "Yes, she works here. She's a very good architect, a top-level specialist. When we launched the Parkside Boulevard project, I offered her a permanent collaboration." "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I knew you would worry. The ex-wife at work every day. Any woman in your position wouldn't be thrilled." Maya sat down opposite him. "Elias, I'm not any woman. I'm your wife, and I want to know the truth, even if I don't like it." "Fine," he said after a pause. "Yes, Olivia has been working with us for 4 months. Yes, we cross paths every day for work. Yes, I'm helping her with family problems. But there's nothing romantic between us, except for work and an old friendship." "Friendship? We were married for 3 years. We can't become enemies just because we divorced." Maya pondered his words. They had logic, but something still bothered her. "And why does the guard think she's your wife?" Elias looked at her in surprise. "How do you know that?" Maya realized she had given herself away. "He told me himself when I came by last week." "You came by last week. When?" "On Wednesday. I wanted to surprise you, but the guard wouldn't let me in." Elias rubbed his forehead. "Harrison, he simply doesn't know I got married a second time. When Olivia started working with us, I didn't tell everyone the details of our past. I decided that the fewer rumors, the better." "So your employees don't know I exist?" "Of course they know, just not everyone." Maya felt a new pang of hurt. It turned out that Elias was hiding their marriage so well at work that even the guard thought Olivia was still his wife. After the conversation in the office, Maya felt even more confused. On the one hand, Elias had finally told her about the collaboration with Olivia. On the other hand, it turned out he had hidden the fact of his second marriage from his colleagues. That evening, when Elias went to shower, she picked up his phone. Her conscience troubled her, but the desire to know the truth was stronger. In the list of recent calls, she saw the name Olivia. There were incoming and outgoing calls, practically every day, sometimes several times. Maya opened the messages. The correspondence was varied. Yes, there were many work messages, documents ready, meeting postponed by an hour, must discuss project changes, but there were also more personal ones. Thank you for the support. You're right as always. I don't know what I would do without you. And at the very end, Maya saw messages from the past few days. Olivia, thanks for the help with Celeste. She's getting discharged tomorrow. Max is so happy. I'll pay you back as soon as I can. Elias's reply, don't rush the money. The main thing is that everyone is healthy. Give Max my love. Olivia, he's asking when Uncle Elias is coming to visit, maybe this weekend. Elias, we'll see. Right now, Maya doesn't know anything about the situation. Olivia, I understand, but maybe you should tell her. She's not an outsider. Elias, eventually. I'm not ready for that conversation yet. Maya closed the phone, feeling a mixture of relief and offense. On one hand, the correspondence confirmed that there was nothing romantic between her husband and Olivia. They were genuinely helping a sick sister and her son. On the other hand, Elias was discussing with his ex-wife what he couldn't discuss with his current one. When Elias came out of the shower, Maya was sitting on the bed, looking guilty. What's wrong? He asked. Elias, please forgive me. I checked your phone. He froze, towel in hand. Why? I wanted to make sure you were telling the truth. And what did you find there? The correspondence with Olivia, about work and about her sister, and about how you're not ready to talk to me about all of it. Elias sat down next to her. Maya, if there's no trust between us, then there's no marriage. You need to trust me. I'm trying to, but you hid so much, and you even discuss our relationship with her. I don't discuss our relationship. I was just explaining why I couldn't immediately tell you about a complicated situation. Why couldn't you? Elias reflected. Because I was afraid. Afraid that you would misunderstand, that you would think I still felt something for Olivia, and I only feel friendship and gratitude because she didn't make a scene during the divorce. Maya looked into his honest eyes. Elias, I'm ready for the whole truth. Tell me everything. Elias got up from the bed and walked over to the window. He was silent for a long time, gathering his courage. Okay, he finally said. I'll tell you everything from the beginning. He turned to Maya. When Olivia and I divorced, I thought I would never see her again. But last year, I was offered a huge project, a residential complex on Parkside Boulevard. I needed a good architect, and everyone I knew was busy. Dixon suggested I reach out to Olivia. I knew she was a good specialist and was looking for work at the time. At first I refused, but then I realized that personal relationships shouldn't interfere with business. And you asked her? Yes. We met, discussed the project. Olivia agreed, but on the condition that our personal relationship was in the past. Just work, strictly professional. And that's all? Just work? Elias sighed. At first, yes, but then it turned out her sister had serious health problems. Celeste is raising her son alone. Her husband died in an accident. When the doctors said she needed surgery and there was no money. You loaned her money? Yes. I couldn't say no, especially since Olivia never asks for anything. She only reached out for help at the most critical moment. And the boy, Max? When Celeste was hospitalized, Olivia had to ask a neighbor for help, pick up the boy from daycare and take him to doctors. I helped several times driving him to the doctor when Olivia had meetings. And you grew attached to him? He's a good boy, and he looks a lot like his father. And something looked strikingly similar to me. Everyone noticed it. Max also saw the resemblance, so he was drawn to me. Maya nodded. Now everything was becoming clear. And why didn't you tell me anything? Elias sat next to her. Because I was afraid of your reaction. Imagine, your husband works with his ex-wife every day, gives her money, and helps with her kid. How does that look from the outside? It looks like the act of a good person. And I thought it looked like a betrayal of our marriage. Maya took his hand. Elias, betrayal is when you deceive or lie, and helping people in trouble is nobility. But I lied. I hid important things from you. Yes, you did hide things, and that hurt. But now I understand why. Elias embraced her. Forgive me. No more secrets. Do you promise? I promise. The next day, Maya received an unexpected call from Olivia. Hello, Maya. It's Olivia Price. We met yesterday. Good afternoon, Maya replied, surprised. Could I meet with you? Talk heart to heart? About what? About Elias? About our situation. I feel like problems have arisen between you because of me. Maya hesitated. I don't know. Let's meet at a cafe. I'll explain everything that's bothering you. They agreed to meet at Benny's Corner Bistro at 2 p.m. Olivia arrived exactly at the appointed time. Today, she was dressed simply, jeans and a light blouse. Without her business attire, she looked younger and more open. Thank you for agreeing to meet, she said, sitting across from Maya. I'm listening. Olivia ordered coffee and began. I know what you think of me, the ex-wife who's constantly around your husband, but things aren't what they seem. And what are they like? Elias and I divorced 5 years ago. Yes, it was painful, but we were able to remain friends. We didn't have children. There were no property disputes. We simply realized we weren't right for each other as spouses. Maya remained silent, listening. When I started having problems with work, Elias suggested collaboration. I'm an architect. He's a builder. We complement each other well professionally. And the family problems... Olivia sighed. My sister Celeste became seriously ill. She needed surgery, and there was no money. Elias loaned us the money without asking any unnecessary questions. And when she was hospitalized, I started picking up my nephew from daycare. Max, Maya said. Yes. Olivia looked at her in surprise. How do you know his name? Maya blushed. I saw you two with him at the park. You followed us? Olivia frowned. When? Last week. I was following you. There was an awkward silence. Then Olivia laughed. You followed us! Wow! And what did you think? That Max was Elias's son, Maya confessed honestly. Elias's son. Olivia laughed even harder. Oh my goodness, how you must have suffered. Max is my sister's son. His father died in a car accident 2 years ago. Maya felt completely foolish. He just looks so much like Elias. Yes, there's a resemblance, Olivia agreed. Celeste always said that Max reminds her of my ex-husband. Maybe that's why Elias grew so attached to him. He is attached? Of course. Elias loves kids, and Max is crazy about him. He constantly asks when Uncle Elias is coming to visit. Maya felt a heavy weight lift from her soul. Everything turned out to be much simpler and more honest than she had thought. Olivia, Maya said, and why didn't Elias tell me anything? He hid that you were working together. Olivia stirred her coffee with a spoon. Because of me. I asked him to. How? When we started collaborating, I told Elias I didn't want to cause problems in his new family. I asked him not to publicize our communication. But why? I had a bad experience. An acquaintance of mine got married, and his wife raised a real scandal when she found out that we sometimes talked, even though there was nothing between us and never could be. Maya nodded. She understood Olivia's logic. And when your sister got sick? Then again, I asked Elias not to tell you anything. I was ashamed that I had to ask my ex-husband for money, and I was afraid you would think I was taking advantage of his kindness. So, all of this was because of me? Partially, but also because of me. I didn't want you to see me as a woman who can't manage her life without help from her ex-husband." Maya reflected on what she had heard. It turned out that all of Elias's secrets were caused by a desire to protect her feelings and not create problems. "Olivia, and how is your sister now?" "Much better. She's already back at work, although the doctors told her not to overdo it." The operation was successful. "And Max?" "Max is happy that Mommy is home, although I think he misses his walks with Uncle Elias." "With Uncle Elias?" "Yes, sometimes Elias would join us at the park. Max adores him. Plus, I have a friend, Dominic Foster, a child psychologist. He's helping Max cope with the loss of his father. We met recently, and the relationship is developing very well." "I'm happy for you two." "Thank you. See? Each of us has our own life. Elias has you, and I have Dominic, and our past is in the past." Maya felt increasingly foolish with every passing minute. She had fabricated problems out of thin air, driven herself to the brink of a nervous breakdown, and in reality, there was no problem at all. "Olivia, I'm so embarrassed by my behavior." "Don't be. Any woman in your place would have worried." "But I followed you. That's awful." "Forget it. The main thing is that everything is clear now." That evening, Maya waited for Elias with the firm intention of telling him everything about her surveillance, about the meeting with Olivia, and about her fears. When he came home, she immediately started. "Elias, I need to tell you something, and you have every right to be mad at me." "What did you do?" he asked cautiously. "I followed Olivia. 2 days in a row." Elias sat on the couch and looked intently at his wife. "You followed her? Why?" Maya told him everything. About the guard, about her suspicions, about the child she mistook for his son. She spoke honestly, without trying to justify herself. Elias listened in silence. When she finished, he didn't say anything for a long time. "You thought I had a son?" he finally asked. "Yes, and that I was hiding him from you?" "Maya, if I had a son, do you think I could hide it? From the first day we met, I would only talk about him. I understand that now. But why didn't you just ask me directly? Why did you decide to spy?" Maya lowered her eyes. "I was scared to hear the truth." "What truth? That I don't love you enough to trust you with important things?" Elias hugged her. "Silly girl, I hid everything precisely because I love you. I didn't want you to suffer because of Olivia. And in the end, you suffered even more." "Yeah, that turned out silly. Forgive me. I'm the one who should apologize for the distrust, for the spying." "Well, I forgive you, but let's agree. No more secrets between us, okay?" They embraced, and for the first time in a long time, Maya felt peaceful. The next day, Elias came home with an unexpected proposal. "How about we invite Olivia and her family over?" "Seriously?" "Of course. Since we work together, and now we're helping her sister, it would be strange to keep our distance, especially since Max constantly asks if he can visit Uncle Elias." Maya considered it. She liked the idea. She wanted to definitively close this painful chapter, to meet Olivia's family normally, without suspicions and fears. "You know what? That's a great idea. We can host lunch on Sunday." "Excellent. I'll call Olivia and suggest it." On Saturday, they prepared for the guests together. Elias bought groceries. Maya tidied the apartment. She prepared her husband's favorite dishes. Her mood was high. She could finally behave naturally, without making assumptions or tormenting herself with suspicions. "What if I don't like her sister?" Maya suddenly worried. "You'll like her," Elias said confidently. "Celeste is a really good person, a strong woman, raising her son alone after her husband's death. Tell me about her." "Celeste is 3 years younger than Olivia. She works as a bookkeeper for a small company. She got married young, at 20. She kept his last name. Something was a good man, a truck driver. Max takes a lot after his father in personality. Cheerful, outgoing. And what happened? Accident on the highway 2 years ago. The truck skidded on ice and hit a tree. Celeste almost lost it then. Maya imagined the pain of the young woman who lost her husband, and her heart clenched with compassion. How did she cope? Olivia helped a lot. She moved in with her for several months. She watched Max while Celeste worked. Then, gradually, life returned to normal. And the recent illness? Doctors say the stress was too much for her body. But everything's fine now. The surgery helped. Maya felt growing respect for Olivia's family. These women went through serious trials and didn't break. On Sunday at 1:30, the doorbell rang. Maya opened it and saw Olivia holding a bouquet of flowers. Next to her was a short woman with short brown hair and kind eyes. And between them, a boy in a bright red t-shirt fidgeted. "Hi," Olivia said. "This is my sister Celeste, and this is Max." "Nice to meet you," Celeste extended her hand. "Thank you for inviting us." Max hid behind his mom's leg, but watched Maya curiously. "Come in, make yourselves at home," Maya invited them. Elias came out of the kitchen, wiping his hands on a towel. "Hello, everyone! Max, how's it going?" The boy immediately perked up. "Uncle Elias, do you have toys here?" "Of course we do," Elias smiled. "Maya works with kids. She has a whole collection." Maya showed Max a box of educational toys she sometimes brought home from the center. The boy immediately immersed himself in studying the building blocks. The adults settled at the table. Celeste turned out to be a very pleasant conversationalist. She told funny stories about Max. She asked about Maya's work. She thanked Elias for his help. "I don't know how we would have managed without you," she said, "with the money for the surgery and with Max." "No need to thank me," Elias waved it off. "In difficult situations, we have to help each other." "You have a wonderful husband," Celeste told Maya. "There aren't many people like him." Maya looked at Elias and felt a wave of tenderness. Yes, she really had a wonderful husband, a man who wouldn't abandon friends in trouble, helped another man's child, and cared for the vulnerable. And she had almost destroyed their relationship with her silly suspicions. "And have you known Olivia for a long time?" Celeste asked. "Actually, we only met this week," Maya confessed, "although I had heard about her." "Of course," Olivia smiled. "Maya very delicately followed me for several days." "Followed?" Celeste was surprised. "She thought Max was Elias's son," Olivia explained. Celeste laughed. "Of course! Everyone says Max looks like Mr. Elias. Even I noticed it. My late husband looked strikingly similar to Elias, almost twins." "And does Max know that Uncle Elias is Auntie Olivia's ex-husband?" Maya asked. "He knows," Celeste replied, "but it's not important to him. He just sees a good uncle who plays with him and buys him ice cream." Max ran up to the table at that moment. "Mommy, Uncle Elias is going to be my new daddy." An awkward silence fell. Celeste blushed. "Max, don't be silly." "But I want a daddy, and Uncle Elias is good." Elias knelt beside the boy. "Max, I have my wife, Auntie Maya, and you have your mom, but we can be friends. Want to?" "I want to," Max cheered, "and Auntie Maya will be my friend too." Maya looked into the boy's honest eyes and felt her heart fill with warmth. "Of course I will be. I want very much to be your friend." "And Auntie Olivia has a friend too, Uncle Dominic," Max added. "He teaches me how to draw cars." "Max, and that's great," Celeste said. "Yes," the boy smiled. "Uncle Dominic is good, and Olivia loves him." Olivia laughed. "Out of the mouth of babes, Dominic is a wonderful person." Celeste smiled. "Yes, Dominic is a special person, thanks to him." "That is great," Maya said sincerely. "I'm really happy for you all." After lunch, the women stayed in the kitchen doing dishes, while Max and Elias built a block tower on the rug. "Thank you for today," Celeste said. "Max loves being in a big crowd so much." "And have you thought about getting married again?" Maya cautiously asked. Celeste sighed. "I'm thinking about it more and more, but I'm afraid. What if it doesn't work out? Max gets so attached to people." Maya smiled, watching this family, how wrong she had been in her suspicions. Instead of a threat to her marriage, she saw people trying to put their lives back together after difficult losses. "Celeste," she said, "would you be interested in working at our development center? We really need a bookkeeper's assistant right now." "Seriously?" Celeste brightened. "Completely. The salary is small but stable, and it's close to home. And most importantly, a supportive team." "I need to think about it, but the idea of working at a children's center really appeals to me." "Think about it. If you decide to, give me a call." Laughter came from the living room. Elias and Olivia were clearly having fun with Max, discussing something. They really remained friends, Celeste noted. "That's rare." "Yes," Maya agreed. "Now I understand it. And you're not jealous?" "There was a time when I was, but now I understand that it's silly to be jealous of the past. Elias and Olivia had their time. It passed. And now Elias has another life with me." "Wise," Celeste approved, nodding. Just then, Elias and Olivia entered the kitchen. "What are you two whispering about here?" Elias asked. "Maya offered me a job at her center," Celeste said. "That's an excellent idea," Elias cheered, "and Max will be close to his mom." "Yes, and he'll meet other children," Maya added. Max lifted his head from the blocks. "There are people there to play with?" "Of course," Maya assured him. "Lots of kids of different ages." "Then Mommy has to take the job," the boy declared. Everyone laughed. "Well," Celeste said, "I will seriously consider your offer." Toward evening, the guests prepared to leave. Max didn't want to say goodbye to his new friends, but his mom promised they would meet again. "Thank you for the wonderful day," Olivia said, hugging Maya goodbye. "It was very important for me to meet you normally." "For me too," Maya replied. "I'm sorry for all that nonsense with the suspicions." "Forget it. The main thing is that we know each other now." Celeste also said goodbye warmly. "I'll think about your offer. Working in such an interesting place is very tempting." "I'll wait for your call." Max ran up to Elias. "Uncle Elias, can I come visit again?" "Of course you can. Auntie Maya and I will be waiting for you. And will you come visit us? I have lots of toy cars." "We'll definitely come," Maya promised. After the guests left, Elias and Maya stayed to clear the dishes. "Did you like my friends?" Elias asked. "Very much. Celeste is an incredible woman, and Max is simply a sweetheart." "Yes, they're good people. I like helping them." "Elias," Maya said, stopping in the middle of the kitchen, "forgive me one more time for everything, for the distrust, for the spying, for almost destroying our relationship over silly fantasies." Elias hugged her. "Stop apologizing. I'm also to blame. I should have told you everything immediately. And now we have new friends, and possibly new colleagues soon. If Celeste takes the job, that would be great, and the communication with other children will be useful for Max. And maybe we should think about having children too," Elias proposed cautiously. Maya looked at him in surprise. "You think? Why not? We've been married for 3 years, everything is stable. And seeing how you interacted with Max today, I realized you would be a wonderful mom, and you'll be a wonderful dad. It shows in how much Max is drawn to you." "So what do you think?" Maya smiled. "I think that's a wonderful idea." A week passed. Celeste called and accepted the job at the Children's Center. The center director was pleased. He really needed an experienced bookkeeper. "Miss Maya, your recommendation was gold," he told her. Celeste quickly got her bearings in all matters. Maya was happy that everything worked out. Max also quickly adapted to the new environment. He happily played with the other children, and after his mom's workday, he often stayed an hour or two longer to talk with Maya. Olivia and Elias continued working on the Parkside Boulevard project. Now Maya knew about their collaboration and even sometimes asked about the progress of the work. "How's the construction coming along?" she would ask during dinner. "Well, Olivia brilliantly solved the problem with the upper floor planning. We would have struggled for another month without her. She really is a professional." "Yes, a very talented architect. Too bad we didn't think of working together sooner." Maya no longer felt jealous hearing praise for Olivia. She now understood that she could appreciate her ex-wife's professional qualities without threatening her current marriage. A year passed. Maya sat in the rocking chair in the nursery, feeding her 3-month-old daughter Eva. The summer sun shone outside. Peace and quiet reigned in the apartment. Elias looked into the room. "How are our girls?" "Eva ate and is falling asleep," Maya whispered, "and the guests will be here soon." "Yes, at 3 o'clock. Today, they were celebrating the first anniversary of their great company. That's what they jokingly called the group of friends that formed after that memorable Sunday lunch. Many things had changed over the year. Celeste married the center's program coordinator, Jordan Scott. They had a modest but very warm wedding 4 months ago in a small circle of close friends. Max was the ring bearer and was very proud of the role. He now had a real dad who adored him and officially adopted him. Olivia moved in with her beloved Dominic 6 months ago. Their relationship was developing seriously, and they were planning a wedding for the fall. He fit perfectly into their circle of friends and quickly befriended Max. And Elias and Maya had a daughter, Eva, long awaited and much loved. Max was delighted with his role as a big brother and constantly brought his toys to the baby. "Uncle Elias, when Eva grows up, will she play with cars?" he asked. "Maybe, or maybe with dolls," Elias replied. "Then I'll buy her a doll too." The Parkside Boulevard project was successfully completed. Olivia and Elias received a new commission, designing a children's center. Maya joked that it was destiny. Celeste adapted perfectly to the children's center and even received a promotion. She was now the head bookkeeper. Max was in the preparatory group at the same center and was very proud that his mom worked there. At 3 o'clock the guests arrived, Celeste with Max and Jordan, Olivia with Dominic. Max immediately ran to the crib to see Eva. "She grew," he reported admiringly, "and she's smiling for real now." "Of course she's 3 months old already," Maya explained. "And when will she start walking?" "Not yet. First she'll learn to sit, then to crawl." "I'll teach her everything." At the table, they recalled the past year, funny and touching moments, the difficulties they overcame, the joys they shared. "And remember how Maya followed me?" Olivia laughed. "How could I forget?" Maya blushed. "I'm still embarrassed." "And there's no need to be," Dominic said. "Any woman in your place would have worried. The main thing is that everything ended well," Elias summed up. "More than well," Celeste added. "Now we all have a new family." "And I have lots of friends," Max announced importantly. "Mommy Celeste, Daddy Jordan, Auntie Maya, Uncle Elias, Auntie Olivia, and Uncle Dominic." "And little friend Eva," Elias added. "Yes, the best company in the world." Maya looked at these people, so different, yet so close. A year ago, she was afraid of losing her husband to his ex-wife, and now Olivia had become one of her best friends. Celeste, a loyal friend and colleague. Dominic, a wise counselor. Max, a beloved nephew. And Jordan fit perfectly into their company. All her fears and suspicions turned out to be baseless. Elias loved her. He was a faithful husband and a wonderful father. And his kindness toward the people that had once scared her now only strengthened her love for him. "To our great company," Olivia proposed a toast. "To friendship," Elias seconded. "To happiness," Celeste added. "To everything being all right," Max finished, raising his glass of juice. Everyone raised their glasses, and Maya thought she had never had a happier moment in her life. And it was all because they learned to trust each other and not be afraid to open their hearts to new people. Little Eva woke up in her crib and cooed softly, as if she, too, was happy for the party. Max immediately ran over to her. "Hello, look how many friends you have." And Maya understood that their family secret turned out not to be a secret at all, but the secret of true happiness, the ability to forgive, trust, and welcome good people into your life, no matter where they came from. A few months later, Olivia and Dominic got married. Max was the guest of honor, and little Eva was the youngest participant in the celebration. A year later, Olivia and Dominic had a son, whom they named Julian. Max was delighted with the appearance of another little brother, and Eva got a playmate. Their great company continued to grow, filling up with new joys, new traditions, and new love. And Maya thanked fate every day that her silly suspicions didn't destroy the happiness that awaited them all. Sometimes, looking at this close-knit group, she thought, what if on that very first day I had simply walked up to Elias and asked him directly? How much torment and fear could have been avoided? But then she understood. Perhaps those very trials made their family so strong and united, because now there were no secrets or distrust between them. They knew they could rely on each other in any situation. And most importantly, they knew that true love is not afraid of the truth, but is only strengthened by it.